Our guest today is Member of Parliament from the Bharatiya Janata Party, the first Member of Parliament who's completed an Ironman. He's an athlete, he is an inspiration to many.
How do you do this?
Back in school, Rishabh, I have never been an athletic guy. Many a times what happens is we shy away from taking up something assuming that we cannot do it.
How can we manifest fitness into our city or even the country? What can we do from the higher level from a policy making perspective?
We don't have enough space to run.
Yes. When the Bengaluru marathon happened, I wrote a letter that this was less of a marathon and more of a hurdle race because you have so many potholes. If we can't ensure clean pothole-free roads in this city, then why are we even paying taxes? During this parliament session, we are planning to take a delegation of...
Our guest today is Mr. Tejasvi Surya, the face of our youth in Bengaluru, Member of Parliament from the Bharatiya Janata Party, the first and pretty much the only Member of Parliament who's completed an Ironman, and he just told us that he's training for
The next one.
the next one. He's an athlete, he is an inspiration to many, a fitness icon, and I personally have a lot of respect for you, sir. So thank you very much for making the time and coming here.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. Thank you.
Words are falling short because there's a lot that we can talk about. So when I was prepping up and I was reading about you, I also came across the point that when you were age 9, you sold the paintings and donated the money to the Kargil war fund. I think that is super inspiring, and
I know.
to have that kind of clarity at that age, and no wonder you're here. You've seen the kind of success that you've seen in your career, and you keep inspiring. A lot more to learn from you, of course. Before we get started and talk about your health and fitness journey, we'll obviously talk about a lot of policies that can impact fitness and health in the country. I have a lot of curiosity about your political journey. So how did politics become an integral part of your journey?
Well, Rishabh, Shwe, thank you so much for inviting me here and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. And I have been a great admirer of the work that both of you have done all of these years.
Thank you.
Whenever I need to get motivation to actually show up and work out, it's your stories on Instagram, it's your videos that I watch. And perhaps both of you are pioneers when it comes to sports and sports entrepreneurism in the country. So please keep inspiring and keep doing what you're doing. And this idea of a podcast is a phenomenal idea because it is directly aimed at educating people on this subject, and who better than seasoned practitioners like yourself. All the best there as well. First of all, this is a health podcast. So when Shwe invited me and to be a part of this podcast, I was very hesitant because between the three of us, if anyone is not a fitness icon, it is me, because this is something very new for me. I have just tried to do this because I wanted to stay healthy and get more disciplined. I don't think that I have the authority like both of you have, because authority is earned through years of hard work, years of dedication to a craft. I don't think I have the authority to be actually speaking about fitness and health like how you guys have. But because I have some experience, over the last few years when I've tried to actually do something, some learnings here or there, but I would be more interested with all humility to learn from you on this subject. But I'll go back and answer the question that you asked about my entry and journey into politics. Right from a very young age, I was deeply inspired by Swami Vivekananda. My mother introduced me to Ramakrishna Ashrama. I was a volunteer in the Balak Sangha. So when I would go there, it was primarily because I was a very notorious kid at home, and I was more than a handful to handle over the weekends. So she took me and put me in Balak Sangha so that the 6-7 hours and Sundays there would be more peace at home. But that's how I got introduced to Swami Vivekananda. And anybody who gets introduced to his writings and his speeches invariably develops a worldview that makes you think about the country, think about others, and resolve at a personal level to live your life for a larger purpose and a larger cause. So I think that was the initial cultural immersion in Swami Vivekananda's writings that actually drove me to consider this as a mission in life. The journey took, multiple efforts, dimensions, and once you want something very badly in your life and you start dreaming about it, thinking about it, the universe actually starts manifesting things for you. I was in Belgaum for when the Kargil war happened, and my neighbor was actually a gentleman in the army who was serving in the army, and he became a martyr during the Kargil war. So his kids and I, we were all of the same age and we were all playing together. And then suddenly one day, Pragna, her name is, I still remember very fondly, the body of the martyr arrives, at home, and then everything changed for that family. And that was when I saw up close, up front, the cost of war and what actually it is to, put your life down for the country. So that's how, these are all small incidents that actually inspired me to take this path. The only reason why I feel politics is a very important mission is because you have the ability to effect change at scale. A policy tweak, institutional change that is made in the political system will have multiple order changes in different aspects of the country and society. So that is why this has been a very sacrosanct mission for me personally. So I have always been interested to be in public life, in politics, and serve the country. Maybe on another podcast we can go into
Details.
the story of how from a student leader in a school fighting the first elections at 6th standard,
Wow.
to fighting the first Lok Sabha elections at 28 thanks to my Prime Minister's blessings. I can tell you more on that journey maybe in another podcast.
I already
Amazing.
have goosebumps.
Yeah, it's
But
damn inspiring.
But I must say that you mentioned that amongst the three of us, you are probably, to talk about health, you're not going to be the one. But amongst the three of us, you're the only one who's done an Ironman.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, we've been in the industry for over, a decade, 15 years plus, but we've still not worked hard to do an Ironman.
Yeah, and it's like training for Ironman itself.
Exactly.
It takes effort, and of course it takes a lot of time because it's the sport of long distance.
Yes. And I've witnessed a little bit of how he makes time despite the busy schedule. I mean, you're always there, public appearances, traveling from one city to another across the country or here in Delhi all the time. Despite that, and I also know your coach who you used to train with. And I remember he would tell me that even if it's 11 p.m., you would get in your training. Now that for people like us is highly, highly inspiring. Right? Like, how do you do this? I mean, you just told us a little story about your training during Ironman, and that sounded like impossible.
Well, Shreya, I think it all starts with your resolve to do things. Everything in life. I mean, every battle is first won in your mind, right? So I was very clear that I wanted to do this. It was a friend of mine, Shreyas, who inspired me to actually do this.
Mm-hmm.
And this idea was always there in my mind. Back in school, Rishabh, I have never been an athletic guy. I have always been more into scholastic activities like debates and quiz competitions and essays and all of that. And occasionally I would play in the school football team or volleyball team, but never been this athletic or physically somebody who got laurels or accolades in that department. But again, there is one quote of Swami Vivekananda that actually inspired me to particularly do Ironman of all other events. There's a quote of Vivekananda where he describes how the youth of the country must be. He says, I want young men who have muscles of iron, nerves of steel, and a mind as sharp as the thunderbolt.
Wow.
So this was a quote that I had, written in my at my table for a very long time. So I always had this, desire that I must be strong physically, and Ironman is like this statement of your endurance fitness. So I happened to again meet Shreyas, who as a career civil servant became an Ironman, a full Ironman, and he inspired me to do it and said, boss, you can do it. Right? Many a times what happens is we shy away from taking up something, assuming that we cannot do it. When somebody actually gives you the confidence that, hey, this is possible, then you actually take your first step. Then you take the second, then the third, and then the journey becomes easier. So I think that's where the journey started. And was training easy? No. I had to dedicate, because I had very less time, about 5 to 6 months was the training journey. And like you said, Shwe, my job requires me to prioritize others, prioritize the public who have elected me over everything else.
Yes.
The first casualty of public life is your personal time and personal life. So whether it is 7 a.m. in the morning or whether it is 11:30 in the night, if the general public is calling you, you bloody be available to answer them, because they have voted you into office. This is not a 9 to 5 job. So one is that. The second is my job also demands a lot of travel, and because I also am the national president for the party's youth wing, my travel is not just Bangalore and Delhi, but it is even all parts of the country. Some days in Arunachal. I have traveled to every state of India in the last 3 years. So it's a lot of travel. So the challenge was how to get the training consistently and the adequate training volume while doing all of this, because this can't be compromised. So there are days where I would wake up at 4 here in Bangalore, leave home at 4:30, reach airport at 5:45, take the 6:20 flight to Delhi, be in Talkotora Stadium by 9:15, do a 1 hour, 1 hour, 10-minute swim, then have your protein shake and breakfast in the car, reach Parliament at 11, finish the day's work, 6 o'clock or 5:30 or 6 o'clock, whatever, go to Nehru Park in Delhi, do a quick 40-minute or 1 hour run, cool down, head to the airport, take the 9:30, 10 o'clock flight, come back to Bangalore by 12:30, somehow get your 5.5, 6 hours of sleep. Next day morning, 6:30, be here for strength and conditioning. So this was something that I would do. And sometimes, in the day, I would get, say, 1 hour or 2 hours in the middle where I could squeeze in a swim. So I would run to Baswangudi Aquatic Center. They were kind enough to allow me to swim even in the middle of the day. So I would get some 40-minute swim. So I think anybody who resolves to commit 6 to 7 hours of training per week consistently over 6 months can easily do an Ironman 70.3. Like many other things in life, doing an Ironman is less about your talent and is more about your consistency.
Wow.
This is the one thing that I learned while doing this. That's all.
Respect.
I'm getting goosebumps again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, respect. And
this is amazing. This is like with your schedule, the
Yeah.
kind of travel, and also the stress that comes with being a politician of this level. Everything that you said, people who have pretty much have all the time in the world also cannot do.
Exactly.
And I'm not kidding, because we work with a lot of people, who want to get fit but are not able to do it. And listening to what you just said is, like I said, again, giving me goosebumps. So
No, but
thank you
I
very
had
much.
people, coaches, Soumya, Rahul, Shreyas, so many of them who would motivate me to, keep tab. Hey, did you finish doing this? And,
Yes.
And that it motivates you and also helps you accountable.
Yeah.
So there are, wherever I would travel in the country, I would always carry my running shoes. So I have ran in random places. I have ran in Siliguri. I have ran in, Buxar in Bihar. I have ran in Pune. I have ran in Goa. So, if I would go there for a meeting, I would try to go the previous night. The meeting would start, say, 9:30, 10 in the morning. I would try to get a run in the morning and then go on with your day. You need to work around these things, because you know that this is not going to go away. So the only way is to work around this. So I think, but let me be, while you are being very kind to say that, this is something that I have done, and you're saying it as though, it's a big thing. Shwet, there are so many more people who are far more busier than me, who have done more incredible things. And I have gotten inspired from there. And I'll tell you, in this department, I have tremendous respect, especially for women. I have seen women juggling full-time jobs, being CEOs of startups, being CEOs of companies, doing big work, managing toddlers, kids at home. That is something that, we might say what we say, Rishabh, but women do bear the most responsibility when it comes to, family and managing
Yes.
the household and being there for kids. They do
Right.
that.
Exactly.
And then they also make time to do something like this. I have seen, I have friends here, women who have 6 months, 7 months postpartum are participating in half marathons, and I get my inspiration from there. Right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the world is so much full of inspiration. We just
True,
have to
true.
open ourselves to seek it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's nice that we all can be inspired by each other, right? That's what keeps us going.
Correct.
There's some sort of accountability.
When you mentioned, it's a very interesting point you mentioned, Shwe. Inspiration from each other,
Yeah.
inspiration from things around. You ask somebody who inspired you, we speak always, mostly we speak of Bhagat Singh, or we speak of, some historical figure. Not that we should not get inspired from
True.
them, but there is so much of inspiration right around you.
Yeah.
So you just have to open yourself up to receive inspiration.
So true.
Yeah. This is amazing. I think very fair point. I really think a lot of people out there should listen to this, because you don't have to look all over for inspiration, because it's right there in front of you in your house.
Exactly.
Awesome. I think I'll just now get to other topics that bear a lot of importance for the city and for the country.
Yeah.
And while people like us, fitness coaches and business owners in the domain of fitness, can try to keep doing a lot of things, you are the only one in this room who can actually make changes at the policy level. So or at least influence changes at the policy level. So I wanted to understand from your point of view, the policy perspective. How can we manifest fitness into our city, which is Bengaluru, or even the country? What can we do from the higher level, from a policy making perspective?
Rishabh, I think there is already some significant steps that the country, and especially this government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has taken to make India a fit nation. And this is a cultural change that needs to happen in India. Unlike countries like Australia, where being outdoors, participating in fitness activities or sports is a part of a universal culture in that country, India is not. And there are multiple reasons for it. It is our, you can go back to historical, social reasons, and, it can be enough material for another podcast. But long story short, are we as fitness conscious or as outdoorsy or as health conscious as or as sporting a culture as other countries? No, we are not. Are we getting there? Yes, as a culture, we are trying to make a difference. One, the Fit India campaign that the Prime Minister started is not aimed at just getting more medals for India in the Olympics. It is more about how India can be as a culturally more fitness conscious, health conscious nation. The Prime Minister's efforts to popularize Yoga Day, get people to do yoga, is one big effort at that direction. Two, over the last 10 years, the amount of money the country has spent on creating sporting infrastructure in the country is phenomenal. It is more than what we have done in the last 60 years. So new swimming pools, new stadiums, new sporting grounds, new infrastructure facilities to support young kids into sports. All of this has taken place in the last 10 years. And especially at the schools and college levels, for the first time, the country started something like Khelo India University Games.
Yes.
Right? You do well there. You are noticed. You're noticed by the authorities. You are put into intensive coaching centers. There are schemes like TOPS, which provide people like Neeraj Chopra, PV Sindhu. Most of these Olympic medal winners, they're all products of this TOPS scheme, which provided them world quality infrastructure available to them to support them and in their training. So slowly we are taking these steps towards becoming a more healthy country. Perhaps, I don't remember in my memory of the Prime Minister of India speaking from the ramparts of the Red Fort, asking people to consume 10% less oil.
Absolutely.
and say, obesity is a challenge. So
Exactly.
be fit, eat healthy, eat more nutritious food. I have not seen a prime minister ever promoting millets
Yeah.
as a healthy alternative for a country that is generally obsessed with just carbs.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a more healthier version of eating. And while it is great for our farmers in our arid regions, it is also great for people to consume a more healthier form of complex carbohydrates. These are all just initiatives which have been done at the government level today to promote physical fitness, health, etc. I still remember there is one when there was a meeting of all BJP MPs, and the PM generally, every week during Parliament session when we meet, he comes and gives homework for MPs to do in their constituencies. He said, I want every BJP MP to organize a mass level fitness and sports event in the constituencies. So Sansad Khel Mahakumbh, this was the name he gave, and he said, change the name to whatever suits the local this thing, but basically it should be a Khel Mahakumbh. And he said, get everybody, whether it is people, the school children, to university students, to general public, to come and play the sport. I still remember for 3 full months, the Prime Minister's office kept following up with all of us. Hey, did you guys organize a sports festival in your constituency? We all had to submit our reports.
Wow.
Work done reports that this was organized.
Homework,
Yes. So this is how he's,
amazing.
Proactively trying to make a cultural difference in how India becomes a more healthier society and a more fit society. From the policy perspective, I think we can do much more, and things are in that direction. Just recently, I had a round table here with some young, sports persons and sports entrepreneurs. There were 2-3 interesting ideas that came out from that discussion. One, most of you run fitness centers, and there's a 18% GST. So they said, why such a high GST on being healthy? So that is a very good point. So during this Parliament session, we are planning to take a delegation of sports entrepreneurs to meet with the Finance Minister to impress upon them that it is important to have a relook at this 18% GST. Can we look at a lower slab so that more people, so that the benefit can be transferred to the end users and more people can actually enroll into these fitness centers? One. Two, the other idea that came is, in many countries, including Singapore, the health insurance premium that you pay is directly linked with how fit you are and how actively you participate in fitness events. So if you have participated in, say, 3 marathons in a year or 3, events like this, then, and you have, you are healthy, your premium is much lower. So can we also speak to our insurance agencies in India and try to get something like this implemented? If you say participate in 3 marathons, if you participate in an Ironman, if you have an active gym membership and show up at the gym, through the year consistently, then your health premium will have a discount. This is another thing that we can do. Third, from the perspective of Bangalore, I have kept thinking about this. Ishwe, you are you have grown up in the city. You have seen the city transforming. When we were kids, Mane in the 5 minutes dura, you would go, you had access to a playground. But most of the playgrounds today have been converted into high-rise buildings and apartments in the city. Kids hardly have open spaces to play.
True.
So there is so much of real estate available underneath our flyovers. Right? We have flyovers building left, right, and center in the city. The metro pillars, the flyovers. And right now it is lying waste. It's so much of prime real estate in the city. It's being, used to dump construction waste and garbage and all of that. You can instead, the government here can actually come out with a policy to lease out such premises to entrepreneurs like you. You can create fitness centers there. We can have, shuttle badminton courts. We can have paddle centers. We can have basketball courts. We can make, transform those spaces into more vibrant sporting ecosystems. That is a very low hanging fruit for the local corporation to initiate. It will even generate some revenue for the local corporation. I think some creative ideas like this will go a long way in making this happen.
I mean, I'm not sure how much we can do here, but in general, yes, we've seen a great growth in the numbers that are walking into the gyms today. Women, men, same, and a lot of women showing up and wanting to become stronger and things like that. But, we just spoke about infrastructure usage, right? Something we could really do is, I think, for runners, like I see how our city is now becoming literally like the run capital. So many people running outdoors. At the same time, we don't have enough space to run. We have a Kabban Lalbagh and we have Kantira where you can barely run because it's more for people who are professionally training. And we are also seeing a lot of people running outside are getting injured. Or we've also heard of deaths happening because vehicles are also moving all the time. So I think from an infrastructure standpoint, I think for the running community or people who want to do a lot of outdoor, cyclists, etc., it becomes so important to find.
Just this morning, Shwe, I recorded a small video just to post on my handle today to educate policy makers and the government here and public about this. This morning I ran on this unopened Ragigudda flyover today. Okay. The only good that has come out of the BBMP and the metro people not completing the flyover on time and not opening it for public use or car use is that one stretch of it is vacant. It is unopened. So mornings, you will literally see hundreds of people running.
Wow.
Because that is one space where you don't have cars. And on Sundays and Saturdays, you have kids training for skating.
Amazing.
Okay, today literally I met hundreds of kids with their parents, practicing. What does that show? That shows that if public spaces are made available for runners, for cyclists, for people who want to do active mobility, people will embrace it with a lot of enthusiasm.
100%.
The difference between a first world country and a third world country is that in first world countries, public spaces, roads are made available for walking, cycling, and such active mobility.
Exactly.
In third world countries, public infrastructure, roads, public spaces is only and only taken up by cars. Cities should be built for people, not for cars. This is one very important policy understanding that cities, governments, policymakers, and public must start inculcating.
Exactly.
So what do we need to do in a city as blessed as Bangalore? This is the only city in the country, Shwe, that has a year-long beautiful climate where you can run, walk, cycle outside 365 days a year.
True. Correct.
What we need to do is, we need to heavily invest in public infrastructure, in metros, in suburban rails, in trams, so that public transport in Bengaluru becomes less private vehicle dependent and more public transport oriented, so that flyovers, roads, all of these public squares, circles are available for people to walk. When the Bengaluru Marathon happened, I actually wrote a letter. I ran the 10K and the next day I wrote a letter to the authorities here that this was less of a marathon and more of a hurdle race. Because you have so many potholes. I saw people tripping down and falling. I mean, if we can't ensure basic footpaths, if we can't ensure clean pothole-free roads in this city, then why are we even paying taxes? This is a question that people ask. So my point is that, there is so much that we can do to actually make our cities more walkable. And we have not thought of the second order benefits of making this possible. Unfortunately, what has happened because of this over car dependence model of transport, transport in the city, is that people hardly get opportunities to walk, Shwe.
Exactly.
Yes.
Whenever you travel outside of India, in more developed countries,
Exactly.
doing your 10K is not an exercise.
Yeah.
It's a part of your walking.
Yeah.
It's a part of getting from A to B. But the reason why we can't do it in Bangalore is because there are no footpaths.
Place. Yeah.
The footpaths are encroached, and there is construction debris lying everywhere. You have to jump over them. There are utility cables. You don't even know if you trip and fall on one. You may even get electrocuted. It's so scary. The second order benefits of actually making cities more walkable is that you will have more healthier people.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right? So the reason why I have been consistently campaigning for more metros, more suburban rails, more tram network, more buses and less vehicles is that we will become a more walkable city.
Yeah.
We will become a more cycle oriented city. We can do it.
Yeah.
In I think Sydney, a very simple initiative was done by the local corporation. Wherever the metro pillars were made, just 5 meters of that road was expanded and barricaded, and that one entire stretch was made only for cycles. So you have an entire cycling path in the whole city.
Yeah.
What is stopping the corporation here from doing this? It is just lack of ideation, lack of creativity, lack of a resolve, a political will to actually make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all.
Absolutely.
You can make wherever instead of now what are we trying to do, Shwe? I'm sorry if this is more podcast is becoming more public infrastructure.
No, but this is important,
like
and I'll tell you why this came to my mind later.
Yes,
go on. No, go on.
We are now thinking of building flyovers over flyovers. Okay, wherever metro goes, the government here in the state has said we must also have a flyover on it. There is a concept called induced demand in public, traffic management. What it essentially says is, if you build more roads, you're actually encouraging people to buy more cars. So the wider you make your roads, the more flyovers you build, the more tunnel roads that you want to build, you will actually be incentivizing people to take up more private transport.
Yeah.
Right? This is induced demand. What should the government rather be doing? The government in cities like South Korea's Seoul, governments have taken down flyovers and that has solved traffic problem.
Wow.
And they have taken down flyovers and converted into streams. They have converted into cycling paths. They have converted into areas where people can actually come out and have open gyms. I mean, this is what we should be aiming at, not making the city a concrete jungle.
Correct.
By cutting down trees, by building more flyovers. So instead of building flyovers over flyovers, the simplest thing that the city can do is make available a cycling path. All the small, distances, 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, you will have hundreds of people who will cycle.
Yeah.
I know, Shwe, there are so many. I'm part of, many cycling clubs in the city. You know how we cycle?
You have to drive the cycle.
Yes. A cycling routine for a typical Bangalorean is, you first wake up in the morning, put your cycle in your car, then drive towards Jakkur if you want to drive in the north of the city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
You find a parking slot for your car and you start cycling on the already heavily congested, dangerous airport road. Okay. And back home, your parents are still, wondering, finally this guy finished cycling and came back home safe. If you are in the south of the city, you do the same thing. You take your car to Kanakpura Road, and in that one stretch that is available in Kanakpura Road, you finish your cycle. You have, high traffic, heavy vehicles going. Why can't, this is one city where 365 days a year you can make cycling possible.
Yes.
Correct.
Running, cycling, everything. Yeah.
We don't do it.
And it may sound like a public infrastructure issue, but this is
a public health issue.
It's very directly linked to, if there are more trees, people will have less stress. If they have less stress, they have less belly fat. The space to walk will have less belly fat.
Not just that, I'll just take one, because you mentioned about public health. Just about 6 months ago, I was part of a program where we released a report a study made by Jaideva Hospital, one of the top hospitals in the country for cardiac health sciences, where they published a study, very interesting study, relating increase in air pollution with the increase of cardiac failure and cardiac arrests.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
the more cars you have more air pollution.
Yeah.
More air pollution, you will have more reports of young people dying because of heart attacks.
Exactly.
Right? You take bloody the cars out of the city, you make the city more walkable, more cycle oriented, the city's air pollution will come down.
Correct.
Young kids in Bangalore
Health.
have so much of asthma and pollen
Wheezing,
allergies
yeah.
and all of these issues. That will come down. People will start easily walking 10,000 steps or whatever. It will
Yes.
not be an exercise.
Yeah.
People will cycle. They'll become more active.
Yes.
It will have natural consequences on their health.
Exactly.
Yeah, on our economy, on our population,
Absolutely.
on everything,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, walking comes naturally to us from there running. I mean, but we don't have the place. And why I thought of it is yesterday when I went for a morning run. Now, some of the issues that, especially women, right? When we go early in the morning when it's still dark, you're thinking traffic is less. Okay, let's venture out at 5:30. We're scared of sometimes
dogs?
being, not just dogs, humans
Yeah.
also sometimes, right? Actually, I'm not even scared of street dogs as much as I'm scared of, men just coming on the bikes and close
Yeah.
to you and
Yeah.
things like that. And then when you wait for it to get a little brighter and then
Traffic.
vehicles are all there. And then, like you mentioned, yesterday in in my run, I almost went into a pothole, right? And it not even a pothole. I think it was they were digging up and cleaning up some sewage, and they hadn't put this back, and there was like they had put some
Mound,
grass
yeah.
around it and leaves around it. And I'm normally very conscious, like I keep looking down and not looking up, and I just missed it and I jumped over it, right? And I had two people behind me, and I said, I signaled them to go slow, but this is the problem.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm like, how do people walk or run?
Yeah.
Now, how do we make our
Yeah.
people more healthier? And not everyone can afford the gym, but they can
Correct.
afford to walk.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
That's where we'll pause for now. This was just the first half of our conversation with Mr. Tejasvi Surya. In the next episode, we dive deep into policy, infrastructure, and what it really takes to make Bengaluru a fitter city. That's coming out next Tuesday, August 19th. Stay tuned.